I thought I had tried every black lip gloss out there, but it turns out there were a lot that I still hadn't tried. It truly is my favorite category when it comes to lip products. I mentioned that there's a black lip product out there for everyone, and I stand by what I said. Now, some of the products that I'm going to show you are ones that you had recommended that I try. A few of these products are pretty new to the market, and a few were previously in my collection, but I didn't swatch in the last video that I made. I am going to link in the cards the first black gloss video that I made. We can consider this video a part 2. Let's go ahead and get into swatching and trying on all of these products. First, we have the MAC Squirt Lip Balm in the shade Jet. This is a gently plumping formula, and it has a light opacity with a whole lot of shine. And I gotta say that this is a lovely formula. I can see why it's so popular because every single time that I've made a gloss video, somebody has mentioned this formula. I haven't tried too many of the other shades. I have a couple of others, but I do think this gives the lips a really pretty sheer tint. And you can see when I try this shade on that you do get a really pretty light opacity, and it gives your lips a beautiful shine. I also feel like if you're intimidated of black gloss, this would be a great place to start. Next, we have another black lip balm. This is M138 from Mob Beauty. It was made in collaboration with Jessica Hayes. The Jessica Hayes products from Mob truly are some of my favorites. I would describe this as a higher opacity black balm compared to the MAC. It's not a high opacity, but it's somewhere kind of in that middle opacity range. It also has a really kind of subtle micro shimmer in it. You can't really tell when you see it on the lips, but you can see it up close if you look really closely. I like this lip balm, but I have heard that it's a little bit polarizing. People either seem to really like it or not so much. It is a little bit more finicky when it comes to getting the product to look evenly dispersed. An option would be pairing it with a lip liner or even using it to deepen up another lip combo. I really do enjoy this lip balm formula from Mob Beauty though. Okay, this next gloss was recommended to me so many times in some of my other videos. This is Team Jacob from Colourpop. This is a kind of sheer or light opacity black gloss, and it has shimmer throughout. Listen, I can totally see why this is such a popular formula. It's comfortable, it's affordable, it's approachable, it's pretty widely available, and I'm glad to see that Colourpop has kept this shade around because it's a really great black gloss. And there is something to be said about a light opacity black gloss when it comes to ease of use for day-to-day. They're not fussy, you can just throw them on without a lip liner. This particular formula feels comfortable on the lips. You can see that the shimmer is quite subtle, but definitely apparent on the lips. I'm glad y'all recommended this formula to me. And here's what the shade looks a little bit closer up. Next, we have Black Veil from Isamaya, and in my last video I showed Beetle, but Black Veil was actually the first black gloss I think that Isamaya came out with. Now listen, the glosses from Isamaya are pricey. They're $38. The formula itself is really, really beautiful. It's so smooth. This particular shade has a beautiful red shimmer throughout. Now they did update the packaging, which I'm a little bit bummed about because I think this packaging is so cool. When I try it on, I think you can see it's got a medium opacity and it has this really beautiful red shimmer. If you do want a little bit more of an affordable alternative to this, like a gloss that has that red shimmer, the Milani Fruit Fetish in Black Cherry Vanilla would be one way to go. I would say that the opacity of that one maybe isn't quite as high, but you're gonna get a similar effect on the lips. And here's what it looks like up close. Okay, next we have a new gloss formula. This is Mob Beauty's Dark Star, which was made in collaboration with Jessica Hayes. I was so incredibly excited to see that Mob made glosses, and this formula is so nice. It feels thick and moisturizing on the lips, and this particular shade I would describe as having a black base, and it's loaded with silver sparkle throughout. It feels incredibly smooth on the lips. And I can't tell you how many times I've worn this gloss since it was added to my collection. You can see that you get quite a bit of pigment even on the first swipe. The one thing I want to mention about the glosses is that the packaging is finicky. There's elements of the packaging that are recyclable. So for me personally, I'm willing to overlook that struggle with the packaging a little bit because the formula is so good. But I did just think it was important to mention. And when you get a look at the shade up close, you can see just how loaded with shimmer it is. Next, we have a new gloss from Juicy called Obsidian Glow. I couldn't resist including it in this video because this is sort of like a blackened purple. I don't think I've seen Juicy release anything quite like it. They tend to have a lot more kind of neutral leaning makeup products, and I love to see them make some really fun glosses. These are so smooth, they're loaded with shimmer. They feel a little bit thicker on the lips and very moisturizing. When I try it on, I think you can see what I mean, especially further back when you see it. It does have sort of a blackened purple appearance. And the shimmer in it is so fine, so it does look shiny and sparkly, but is more of a shimmer effect than a glitter effect. Next, we have the shade Necromorph from Haunting Hues. I've talked about this brand several times before because they truly do make some of the most unique lip product shades on the market. I would describe this shade as having sort of a red-black base and fine red sparkle throughout. It looks a little bit deeper than the Black Veil from Isamaya. I think that the formulas from this brand are also really nice. If you're someone who enjoys spooky tones and grungy tones, I definitely recommend trying out some of the gloss shades from this brand. Here's what it looks like on the lips. I also really like the doe foot on this shade. It lent itself to a very precise application. And here's what it looks like closer up. You can see closer up that the shimmer in this shade is just really fine. Now we have another formula that's new to me. This is a lip mud from Sushi Glow. I did feature Sushi Glow in my last video, but it was for the glosses, and this is kind of like a lip product with a lot more of a velvety texture. I gotta say, I don't think I have anything quite like this when it comes to black lip products. As you can see from the swatch, it's very opaque and you don't need very much product. I'm not very familiar with products like this, so I really took my time with it. I used one of these little cushiony applicators that I've seen other people use. It makes it a little bit easier to apply. And here's what it looks like on the lips. Next, we have a palette from a brand that has been recommended to me so many times. This is really cool because this is the first time that I'm trying a gloss palette like this. In this particular palette, there's a lot of really beautiful shades. There are a few that I'm probably not going to use, but there's probably 8 or so that I will. And look at those shimmery ones. We're going to try on that black gloss, and I went ahead and applied it with my fingertip. And here's what that black gloss looks like on the lips. I know this wasn't the neatest application, but I think this is a really pretty black gloss. And here's what all of the shades I just talked about look like swatched on my arm. All of the labels are from the wrist down. We're gonna go ahead and get into part 2. Okay, next we have a black lipstick. This I would describe as having a satin formula. It's from the brand called Mina, and I actually haven't tried anything from this brand before, but I've seen many other people recommend it, including Erin Parsons, and she knows so much when it comes to lipstick. This is a super opaque formula. It felt really comfortable on the lips. As you can see when I'm applying the lipstick, you get such a high opacity with the first swipe, and it looks so beautifully opaque on the lips. If you're familiar with this brand and have any other shade recommendations, definitely let me know in the comments. All right, now I have a couple more products from Nikoyanin. This second part of the video is a lot harder for me because all of these products are pretty opaque, but this is a full opacity black gloss, and this formula was recommended to me several times. And when I say full opacity, I mean like completely opaque. This is just one swipe on the hand, and now we're gonna apply it on the lips. This is a really beautiful opaque black gloss, and this is hard to do because it's really easy for them to be sort of running near the lip line or just not staying in place in general. And here's what it looks closer up. And in the little duo that I picked up, there was also a liquid lipstick. This is called Hope. This formula is matte, and when I say matte, I mean very matte. Like the lip gloss that I just showed, it is full opacity. It's pigment on one swipe, and I think that you can use this in combination with the gloss that I just showed as sort of a foolproof black lip combo situation. I gotta say that for me personally, this formula did feel very kind of dry on the lips. I think I might be able to get over it if I use this in combination with the gloss, and especially if I am going for that full opacity, foolproof black lip combo. Okay, now we have the black lip gloss that I think Queen Cosmetics is most known for. This is known as Black Widow, and it has a really kind of opaque black base with beautiful holographic sparkles throughout. I think this gloss has gone viral many times. I've also mentioned the Queen Cosmetics formula before because I think it's very impressive how sparkly these glosses are, all while being incredibly smooth and comfortable on the lips. These are definitely giving party vibes, festival vibes, just someone who really loves sparkly lip gloss vibes. And here's what it looks like on the lips. You can see that when I'm applying it, you get pretty much near a full opacity on that first swipe. And you can't imagine how beautiful this one looks when in sunlight or any kind of direct light. And I feel like I could have done a neater application, but I'm getting pretty tired in the second half of lip swatches here. And next we have a full opacity black gloss from Black Moon Cosmetics. I mentioned Black Moon in my previous video, but I had swatched their liquid lipstick. I think Black Moon is a great brand, especially when it comes to unique lip shades, when it comes to spooky shades, alt beauty shades. The formulas really are top notch, so I think this is another great option if you're looking for a full opacity black gloss. I had no issues applying it whatsoever. You get full opacity on that first swipe, and it looks so clean and crisp. Here's what it looks like closer up. Next, we have a formula from Nyx Cosmetics that's new to me. This is their lip IVs. I've been recommended to try these several times. This is the shade Grape Gushin, and my understanding is that these are like a glossy lip stain, so you can apply them like a gloss, and then they will leave a stain behind. This gloss shade is so beautiful. It's like a blackened purple. And here is what it looks like on the lips. You get a ton of pigment on that first few swipes. And if you're wearing it as a gloss, this is what it looks like. It's a beautiful shade. I do think that we're going to continue to see a lot more glossy lip stains. And now I'm going to show you what the lip stain looks like. It's more of a wine purple. Okay, now we have another one from Queen Cosmetics. This is their liquid lipstick in the shade After Dark. And this is another one that I think is being advertised as being able to be worn by itself, but also as a base for their black lip gloss, Black Widow. Similar to the way that Nyx is doing the lip duo of their black gloss and black liquid lip. I think that this one is a little bit less drying than the Nyx in my opinion. But out of the matte liquid lipsticks that I've shown, I have found the Black Moon to be the most comfortable overall. Now we have a lip stain from one of my favorite Australian indie brands called Cloudicos. They came out with these lip stains within the last year or so and have really kind of padded out and expanded this range. I would describe this as a blackened aubergine, and it is so beautiful. It was made intentionally that way in order to have something that's really deep and vampy, but for people who may be a little bit intimidated of a black lip product, they might find this a little more wearable. I think this lip stain formula from Cloudicos is really nice. It's very comfortable. It's not a glossy finish, but it's also not drying on the lips. And here's what it looks like a little bit closer up. And then last but not least, we have a black holographic lip gloss from Lacewood Cherry. Lacewood Cherry is a small independently owned brand, and I have come to really enjoy their products, especially these glosses. They're so smooth and comfortable on the lips. And even though these sparkle particles are larger in size, the formula feels very smooth on the lips. And I've shown several holographic formulas at this point, and I would say there were a couple that were not very smooth and felt a little bit gritty, but I didn't find that to be the case with this one. It's got a medium opacity and it has a very sparkly finish. And here's what the second set of shades I talked about look like swatched on my arm. I know we've covered quite a few products, but I'm really hoping that seeing all of these options is helpful, especially seeing them also tried on. If you haven't seen my first black gloss video, I would recommend watching that as well. I will also have all of the shades listed in the description box as well as links to them. I hope you found this video helpful. As always, please let me know if you have any of these shades or if you've tried any others that you would recommend. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.